What's up, my beautiful bandits? Me and the Z Hump is here live tonight to talk all things crypto and to tell you about Clear Cryptos. How are you doing tonight, Z Hump?
Doing great, man. Doing great. And we just had a birthday, same day, which is pretty nuts. So happy belated to you, and happy 40th. That's a big one.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a great ride. You know, turning 40, I've learned so much over the last few years. I love helping people every day. And that's what's making life so interesting, especially here in this crypto game. I know you're feeling it. I'm seeing all your short videos out here training people, lifting them up. And it's been a fun journey, man. It really has.
Definitely, man. Age is just a number too, right? So hopefully you feel younger at 40 than you did at 30.
Absolutely. I tell you, when you hit the 40, you really want to start. It really makes you start looking at things. When you look at the candles at the, at the cake shop, and you get down to 4, and then you start looking at, you only got so many decades left. You better get to business.
100%, man. No, it's yeah, it was an awesome weekend, and what an awesome start to the year too with crypto, man. There's just been so many good things happening, especially with Clear and the deal with the USFCR. And I know that's just the beginning, man. So happy to be here with you, man.
Hey, again, thank you for being here. Let's tell the people that may not know, that may not have heard, the title of this is a Clear Crypto Strong and Steady, Steady and Strong. And that's what they are. They are systematically breaking down the walls, doing what they need to do every single day to bring business into blockchain and to tie everything together. If you have not yet heard, this partnership with USFCR is just a major breakthrough. It's going to bring all these businesses that are already doing federal contracting and tie them directly into the blockchain. It's an exciting time, and it's an exciting opportunity for small business, big business alike.
100%. There are so many sectors to be excited about, whether we're looking at, just the L1s out there. I mean, obviously Bitcoin is kind of a sector in and of itself. You got the layer 1s, you got the layer 2s, you got the metaverse, you've got AI, you've got gaming, you've got community tokens, but don't forget about the enterprise plays. One of the big ones in the top 100 is VeChain. They've been doing a ton recently, but don't also forget about Clear Cryptos. Not in the top 100 yet, but they are really, really focused right now on that enterprise side of things, and talking to some really, really smart people, including the CEO of CCX. He really believes that the next 3 to 5 years are going to be crucial for the enterprise businesses getting into crypto. There's so many people that are interested. They just don't know how to get in. They just don't know how to step in and actually, utilize the benefits of the blockchain. And Clear Cryptos is getting the ball rolling here, of course, with USFCR. And I think there's going to be more to come in that regard, for sure.
Absolutely. And everybody that's watching this, take a look at this chart. I mean, this is just the beginning for Clear Cryptos, okay? There hasn't been a blow off the top all-time high yet. People are just now starting to understand what Clear Cryptos is and what separates them apart. And me and Zach always tell everyone this. When you're picking and choosing different plays to get involved in, you want to look from the leadership down and what their overall mission is. Their mission is tied to bringing and educating people into blockchain, making things simpler, easier for business, making things transparent. If you can do that in business and you can save time and money, you can be successful. And all of these small businesses out here, I know this because I am one with Manus Veteran Medical. Every business that does any type of business with the federal government wants to make it easier and quicker and more efficient and more transparent. And what Clear Cryptos is bringing to this whole equation answers all of those different blocks.
100%. And Jonathan, I've heard you explain this really, really well before in the past. So if you could kind of reiterate this, because I really like how you put this. But the point we need to get to is where people are interacting with the blockchain and interacting with crypto without even knowing they're doing it. And I think that's good. It's happening right now with some of the major breakthroughs right now in the industry, right?
It absolutely is. See, if you don't know this, the federal government is already hiring firms and people to put blockchain in place on their side. But what they're not doing and what the government doesn't do is help the small businesses and regular businesses get their side ready. But if you forward think and you look at what processes the government's putting in place and you start getting ready, you will be ahead of your competition as they roll this out. And trust me, they are going to roll this out because they've realized one thing about the blockchain. The blockchain is transparent. It is black and white. The ledger is kept. There is no sliding $1 million here or $5 million here. If you're doing it and you do it right, you get paid. If you don't, you don't get paid. And that's the best thing I feel about this, because in my side of things, I'm an amputee veteran. I don't want money being wasted that can help our fellow veterans get the services that they need to help themselves feel better, to get better, and to mend themselves mentally or physically. It doesn't matter. I don't want to waste. So the number one thing I'm excited about the blockchain for is not only not having to wait 90 days to get paid for something, but also the amount of waste that is going to be cut down and the dollars that's going to actually go to what they need to go to.
Yeah, and you can actually see it in real time and know that money is being put to where you're maybe even donating in a case or two. But I agree with you 100%. And I think, CCX, it's multifaceted, but I think they see a big opportunity right now with the enterprise side, because not a lot of companies are focused there. A lot of people are kind of chasing the metaverse. They're chasing AI. And I think those sectors are going to be massive. And I think, from an investor standpoint, I want a piece of all of those things. I want to diversify out into all of those different sectors. But I think there's a big need to be filled right now with the enterprise side of things. You see Polygon doing some things. You see VeChain doing some things. Avalanche with their big partnership with Amazon. But there's still a lot of room for some big players to come in here. And I think CCX is going to be the next big player with the connections they have and some of the big partnerships that they could ink because of those connections. Man, excited.
It is exciting. And ClearCryptos saw the need immediately when they realized that the federal government was going to be bringing this to their books and what they're doing. So they went and they found the connection of the business owner to the federal government and partnered right there. By doing that, it opens them up to over 30,000 businesses immediately that are needing this type of service and that want to get tied into the blockchain. This is bigger than people realize yet. And I love it. I'm so excited because I actually get to hear, on either side, like I hear the business owners asking the questions that they ask, and they are all so excited about getting tied into the blockchain because they feel that they're missing out. They feel that they're missing something by everything not being as transparent as the blockchain will allow them to be, especially if they understand blockchain. If they don't yet, they're learning. And that's what ClearCryptos is doing also, educating and training folks on how this is all going to play out.
For sure. Where do you see some of the other big companies, Jonathan, out there, you think, or maybe other, sectors in the business world that can utilize blockchain the most? I mean, we see what VeChain's doing with supply chain management, which I think is big. Obviously, USFCR in the area of government contracts is massive. Where else do you see maybe some gaps out there?
Well, here's what I want people to realize that they may not realize. Every time you roll through the McDonald's, all right, what's the first thing that they ask you? They say, would you like to pay with your app today? And Starbucks is picking this up too. Most people don't realize that is McDonald's switching over to Web3 and blockchain, okay? They're positioning your mind to get ready for Web3 and blockchain. And by doing that, by saying, do you want to use your app? What's eventually going to happen, of course, is you're going to get your rewards through a token. You're going to get, everything is going to come through Web3 and blockchain. And it's going to get real simple. I mean, it already is. You can do this. You can say, McDonald's, place my normal order, and it will do it. And you go through and pick it up. But it's all going to be done on the blockchain. And that's what they're conditioning us to do. So it, again, is simplifying time and just making things easier and more transparent, easier to track. And by doing this, again, you cut down on waste. If you start doing this, you start to realize your standard order and you stop wasting so much food. That's why McDonald's is doing it in a way.
I think you're spot on. And just from an observant standpoint, not too many people carry cash much anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe in certain circumstances. And then there's even businesses now that don't accept cash, card only, right? So, I mean, I think you're right. And I think moving forward, the loyalty rewards programs, which you're kind of referring to there, I think that's going to be massive. We're seeing what Polygon's doing with Starbucks already. And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg, because these type of programs, people love them, but they're so outdated, like the punch card, buy 4 coffees, get 1 free. It's like there's so many more things that could be done. And if they're NFTs, now I can trade a reward over to Jonathan, and Jonathan could trade a reward over to one of the viewers out there, right? And you could start swapping your rewards in form of token or NFTs. And again, like you said, that's all Web3. It's all blockchain. So it's going to
coming
be interesting.
so fast. Like you said, Zach, they're doing it without even knowing it. Ticketmaster's already done it with all their tickets. They're NFTs. You don't know this yet, but they are all NFTs. When you look at Ticketmaster now, there's a little thing sliding across. It looks like a little, I guess, a timer. But what that really is doing is resetting the NFT so it can't be stolen or resold improperly. So when you log into Ticketmaster right now, you feel like you're doing the same exact thing, but you're really logging into your unique identifier, which is a digital wallet. So y'all, I'm letting you know, world, if you're listening to this right now, you might want to get your business ready for blockchain and Web3. And there's a major reason why you might want to look at ClearCryptos, because there is only so many people that understand this language. It's just like federal contracting. I know the language. I'm a federal contracting master. And I'm not blowing my own horn. I really am. I spent the time and the dedication to learn it. And I can say I'm a master, but there's only a few people out there in the world that understand blockchain, so they're all going to be balled up real soon to do what these companies need. So the time to be early is right now.
It reminds me of the .com era a little bit. And I was young, but I was also old enough to kind of understand what was happening. And I heard a lot of people during those times, no, I'll stick to my brick and mortar. I don't need a .com. I don't need a website. I don't need to go e-commerce or sell anything online. People will come to my store. They'll walk over, they'll park in the parking lot, and they'll come get it, right? But those people who made that pivot, who saw the future, who were first movers, they were the biggest winners. And I think we're right here. Now with enterprise companies coming into crypto, those companies who make the first move, who are the first movers, they're going to have that advantage, and they're going to be in before, a lot of others, and whatever sector they're in, they're going to have a leg up in that sector.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about this. I want you to know that since we get to have this open forum, it's good so the viewers can hear this. So being a small business, you learn a lot of things. And the number one thing in the medical sales industry you learn is that the big dogs, they rule you, okay? If they want to shut you down or close you out, they'll lower their price so far that they'll smash you out, okay? But what this blockchain is allowing us small businesses to do is to create partnerships and be ahead of the big guys trying to smash you out with your partnership and your agreements. And it allows you to track and do things and bring new products to the marketplace where people can't squash you out over the dollar. The dollar is a great thing if you're trying to make money. I'm sure the drive is outstanding, but it also is a limitator on when you're trying to progress. People want to stop you. And I'm excited about the growth. Just like you said, the .com bubble, the internet exploded. When this really unfolds and people start to harness the power of it. And that's what's about to happen with Shibarium. See, most people don't really understand Shibarium yet. I know me and you do because we read a lot about it. But when it really unleashes and lets the world tap into it, that's when you see the power. And that's what's about to happen for a lot of businesses out here in this world. They're like, oh my God, I'm missing this. Let's get on this. It's an exciting time to be alive.
No, 100%. And I think, more and more people are finally opening up to the idea of crypto. And I think, a lot of people came in the door, as did I, really, in 2020. I had a little bit of Bitcoin in 2017, had no idea what the hell I was doing with it. Just got a little bit because people said it was cool and you should do it. But in 2020, I finally got in. And I think even for those people who didn't get in 2020 and 2021, and even here now today, they've at least now heard a lot about it, and it's piqued their interest to the point where they're educating themselves, right? So I think what 2021 did, not only did it bring so many new people in, but it put that bug in a lot of people's ear. And I think now this next wave that we're going to see during this next bull cycle, we've got the Bitcoin halving, coming up in spring of 2024, which usually kind of sparks a big rally in crypto. I think we're going to see another blow off top even bigger than what we did in 2021, because I think when the next bull run hits, We're going to have something a little bit different. We're going to have all that interest, but we're also going to have regulatory clarity by then. And I think that will bring in the big institutional players and even more of these Web 2 companies that we're talking about, people that are, maybe thinking about Web 3 right now that are still kind of waiting, and they're going to be wanting to get in as well. So I think this next big cycle is going to be huge for crypto. As big as 2021 was, I think this is going to be even bigger.
I completely agree. We're just getting started in this. You did a very interesting video the other day about making sure that you don't overreach. Don't push these rules and regulations too hard, too fast, where you scare the entire market to death. And I really feel that they're feeling that. I feel that they got to make it softer because of what they want to do with digital currency. The government wants in the game as well. Now, the number one thing we just talked about, the big guys in the medical industry wanting to shut down the small business. What if the government wants to just say, hey, look, I'm in control. I don't care how much money you lose. That's an opportunity that is always out there. But I pray that they let decentralization and freedom do what it needs to do, because I believe it's going to bring so much growth to the world.
Yeah, I think they will. And this is an interesting one, though, right? Because crypto is so interesting that it's global. It's not something inside the US. So they really can't tame it even if they wanted to. The only thing they do by over-regulating it or making it so difficult or creating so much fear that people don't want to get in, the only thing they do is hurt themselves. And I call it stunt innovation. I don't think they're going to do that, because then they lose a competitive advantage to the rest of the world. Right. So recently we just saw that China's kind of opened the doors back up to crypto. Now, they've had a whole really interesting story about crypto ever since Bitcoin was a thing in 2010-ish, right? They've went back and forth. They've flip-flopped. I don't even know how many times. It's regulated. It's legal. It's illegal. It's legal. It's legal. So now it's legal again. And I think they're playing the chess game right now with the U.S., saying, well, while the U.S. is sitting on the sidelines, sitting on the hands right now, we're going to actually step up and try to be the market mover and the market leader. That's what I think, in my opinion. And Hong Kong now, which, that there's an interesting dynamic there with them in China, but Hong Kong is going to be opening up their exchanges now. There's a lot of people in that part of the world, and maybe even people are out there listening from that part of the world right now. That unlocks a huge sector of the market. And I think that only helps us from a global standpoint. And as soon as the U.S. understands that this is not something just in the U.S., this is part of the global economy here. This is big, that they're going to want to be a leader in it. I think they're going to get there. It's just taking them some time. And there's a lot of fallout still from the FTX stuff and making sure exchanges are abiding by all the rules and regulations there and what have you. But I think in the end, it'll work itself out. But we can't control that as retail investors. What we can control is educating ourselves on what the moves that they're making are, and also diversifying. Don't go all in on one thing or the other. Have a piece of all different sectors. And by the way, have some other investments as well outside of crypto, right?
Absolutely. You got to enjoy the ride, and you got to be smart. Okay. Right now, like you said, you can pick the Bitcoins and the blue chips as you move forward, but you never really know until everything is all said and done. But I do want to let you know this. If anybody was trading crypto back when China was allowed to trade, you would see that we would trade $10 billion in Shiba Inu, $15 billion some days. Yeah. And that's because China and the U.S. is double teaming the market as it moves around the world. And that's exactly what we need for success on all these new things that are coming out that's going to create burns like Shibarium,
100%. India was another big part of that. The top two countries in the world, India, China, then the US, and Indonesia. Indonesia has a huge growing population of crypto investors. Their main exchange, I think it's called Index or IndoX, I think is their top exchange. And that has been booming lately. So I agree with you 100%. And now that the doors are open back up, maybe it's just in time for the next bull run, and we see some of those crazy numbers again.
Yeah, I want it. I want the world to open back up. I want to see the power again like that, and I want to get back to those days. I do feel that the first quarter here of 2023, we had a New Year's kickoff live. But I do believe that the first quarter here is really made people look at the power of crypto, just the retail investors, because we are the ones that said, you know what, we're done being beat down. We're going to buy this back up. I know
Yeah.
that because I talk to people every day. Us retail investors lifted us back up, you know?
I do think that. I do think that as well. I think and I think, you know, a lot of it was new year. Okay, 2022 is behind us. They're tired of all the negative news. They're tired of all the negative stories written about FTX late in 2022. I mean, people forget Bitcoin was below 17,000 not too long ago, right? Like right around Christmas time, it was like 16.7. Don't quote me on that, somewhere around there, right? We just touched over $25,000, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, this has been a pleasant surprise, and I'm enjoying it, man. And, you know, I want to say this too, Jonathan. For every investment you have a plan. I know that sounds so cliche, right? And we probably don't say it enough as educators and as YouTubers, but it's so important because every asset you own is not created equal. It's just not.
No.
And you have to decide, okay, am I in this to, you know, hold this for a year or so and treat it as a long-term investment or even longer than that? Or am I looking to make a 2 to 3x on this particular asset over here and then take those profits and put it into a longer form of investment or buy property or do something with it? So map it out. Every time you get into something, what are your goals? Both short-term and long-term. And by the way, you can have short-term goals and long-term goals with the same asset. I know you and I do that with SHIB, right? Like we have SHIB in multiple wallets. We have one where we hold for the long term, but we also have those ones when SHIB decides to go up 40, 50% in a day, we could take some profits from those side bags. And there we go. Now we're making money in a whatever market, whether it's bull, bear, you know, just somewhere in the middle, we can still make money and still, you know, that's a great thing to do, right? I think people need to have a multifaceted approach. It's not just one way, right? You just don't have to hold forever, and you don't have to just be a trader. You could do both. You could do both.
I'm absolutely in love with Shiba Inu, the trifecta, the SHIB, leash bone. Okay, but I do exactly what Zach does, and I've told everybody this. I have a hodl bag and I have a flipping bag, and that flipping bag's already paid off 3 times for me this month with bone alone. I've hit bone $2 3 times this month with my flipping bone. Okay, my other bone, I'm holding it until we go to $50 to $100. I'm not going to miss that run either. But that's what I've tried to help people and try to tell people. Look at leash, everyone, $713. Wow. We was just on a live stream, me and Zach, not long ago, less than 30 days, $340 a piece. We was talking about, hey, we need to add a leash a month, a leash a week, whatever. And if you did it, you're in good. Let me tell you, $700 is nothing. I'm thinking in the $100,000 a piece range when this all kicks off. Why? There's 107,000 of them suckers. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, and it already got to 9,000 in the previous run. And by the way, I did pick up 3. I didn't get them right at 340, but I got one at like 350, one around 380, and then as it was going up at like 450, I'm like, all right, I'll get another one.
And so, you did add bone too, didn't you? Down at the $20, $30 range.
And I got to give you a shout out because I picked up more at about, it was $1.03 when I asked you. I think we were live that night too, and we were talking, and you convinced me, man. And I already had a little bit, but I added a good amount at 103 and I obviously like where that's at now, right? So I mean, where are we at? What's that? 189 right now?
Yeah, 189. And you know, that this is just us speculating and talking together. We don't give each other financial advice. We love each other. We're trying to show people the opportunity that's out here. This is an opportunity. And the same as Clear Cryptos. If you have not done this yet, look in the description. There's a link down there where you can ride and join the affiliate with me and just sign up and get involved. Also, Zach Humphreys on his show. He has a link for him. You know, we're just trying to get people to see Clear Cryptos and understand what's available out there and the opportunities. So please enjoy the ride with that. You know what I mean?
100%, man. Yeah. And SHIB has been doing its thing too, just kind of hovering right now. You know, I think a lot of people, I made a video the other day. I think a lot of people are kind of happy with where they are with SHIB. At least it feels that way. And they also want to add the other pieces of the ecosystem. So I think a lot of the money you see right now is going to leash and bone, and they've been outpacing SHIB a little bit recently, but I think that's all it is. I think people are gearing up for Shibarium. They know they have a really healthy bag of SHIB and they're confident in that, but they also want a piece of these other players and pieces of leash and bone. And so I think that's kind of what you're seeing right now. And I think for good reason, right? Because if you're bullish on SHIB, why wouldn't you be bullish on Bone and Leash, right? And I think early on, I made a lot of videos early on kind of saying it's not a competition between SHIB, Bone, and Leash. There was a lot of people out there that had this idea that, Bone would compete and it's all about SHIB, and it is all about SHIB, right? SHIB is the engine, right, that makes this whole train move. But this ecosystem, once Shibarium is built out, is important to work in concert with one another. So if you love SHIB, you should love Bone and Leash. Just like if you love Ethereum, you should love Polygon. They help each other, right?
Yeah.
They work alongside one another. They're not taking away from one another. So that's my take.
Yeah. And it's just about the thing that's different about SHIB that I want people to know that are watching. SHIB will not be left behind these other tokens that are built around the ecosystem. I know that it's hard to see it right now, but these ecosystem tokens are going to lift SHIB up to where it's eventually going to get to. There has been some tokens in the past, I'm not going to mention any names, where they built something out and built something extra and it completely run away from the main project. That is not the case with SHIB. I know that for a fact. Yeah,
and SHIB has been around long. Longer than many of the other community tokens, right? They've been around since 2020. Many of the projects that, have done things the wrong way are already gone or becoming more irrelevant now, right? Whereas SHIB has kind of, I think, proved itself a little bit, going through the ups and downs, now gone through and maybe still going through its first bear market and surviving, not only surviving, but thriving. I mean, still a top 15 crypto. Many people thought once the bear market hit, SHIB would just go away. It would disappear into abyss and just be done. Well, that's not the case. SHIB's stronger than ever. We saw it, holders being added every single month, essentially, in a terrible market in 2022. Terrible from a price standpoint, right? So, yeah, I mean, SHIB is different in that regard. There's a lot of great community tokens still out there too. Shout out to a lot of the community tokens that are nearing the top, 100 right now. There's quite a few. I mean, you got Volt, you got Suka. There's some rumors out there that Suka is actually made by Ryoshi, by the way. Some pretty interesting rumors too. But yeah, I mean, but here's the point. Everybody's chasing SHIB. Everybody's trying to do what SHIB did, right? And will they get there? I hope so. And SHIB is a great, role model in that regard, but I don't think anything is going to get bigger than SHIB. I mean, it's a $7 billion market cap right now, already been a $50 billion market cap. I mean, and
look, they won't. They might try, but they won't. The reason why is it goes back to good old Motley Crue. Shitty band, shitty name. You know what I'm saying? They said it best. If you got a shitty band name, you suck as a band, period. And it's like McDonald's, okay? That name. If you've seen the movie The Founder, he said, I love McDonald's. Why? Because the name rolls off my tongue. SHIB's name, Shiba Inu, from the very get-go, the logo and the name made you feel something. I don't know what it was. It made me feel something. And all the people that I've set up, they enjoy it. I don't know if it brings them a little bit of joy in their day, but that's why Shiba Inu got its chance. And then all of us community built it up. And it truly is a community token.
You're right. And I think SHIB is now a household name. It's one of those names you've heard of. Even if you're not in crypto, you've heard the Doge name. You've heard the SHIB name. It just resonates as something that's solidified. And I think you're right. The marketing around that was genius. And the timing around that, was genius as well. But it's crazy because it's just beginning too. I mean, now the big utilities are rolling out, right? Shibarium, the metaverse. It's going to be fascinating, man. It's going to be interesting to watch. I can't wait to have Marcy. I can't wait to talk to Marcy again too. Did you just have her on the channel again?
I did have her on the channel. She's about to do the South by Southwest down in Texas. It's going to be amazing. I know what's about to happen and people get to see it. That's why Bone and SHIB, it's not only Shibarium. The people that know, that really follow it, that are part of the Discord and the Telegram, they see what's about to happen. When they show the visuals of what they built already just for their one or two little sections of the metaverse, people's minds is about to get absolutely blown away. Marcy's been busting her butt to bring a stellar product, and it's going to be awesome. And the first peak is going to be in the next few weeks down there in Texas.
I love it, man. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's going to be good, man. So before we get off here, I mean, we're building up here, but is there any more things that you would like to talk about as far as your perspective of ClearCryptos? Any thoughts?
I think we've said this before, but take a look at the board of advisors. When you're looking at investing in a company, because that's where ClearCryptos is different. It is a company. It's not a project. There are great projects out there too, but this is really a company, a blockchain company. And I think you need to take a look at the advisors and understand that everything is different. Everything is not made equal. This is not a speculative. It's not as speculative. Everything is somewhat speculative. This is not as speculative as, say, a community token, a future gaming token, right? I have a lot of those in my portfolio, but this to me feels a little bit different. It feels like I'm investing into a private company before anybody knows about it. And a company that, if you love blockchain, you love crypto, they're doing some great things in that regard, bridging the gap, bringing people in, making it more mainstream through unbelievable connections. So do your due diligence, do your homework. We're not financial advisors. We're both investors into ClearCryptos because we've seen, what you could see on the site, and we've seen some things even behind the scenes that tell us, hey, this is a good investment. This is an opportunity for, instead of letting my money sit idle over here in a bank, I'm going to put it to work with good people and a great community behind it. And let's ride. Let's see what happens here.
Put it together, put it to work smartly. And business owners are normally the ones that are trying to make more money. So who are investing more money and doing things to grow. And that's one beautiful thing about ClearCryptos, tying in with all these business owners. These guys and gals are trying to be successful, and they got a lot of money behind them, and federal contracts are worth a lot of money. You never know where the future might roll out.
And Jonathan, they're trying to do good. And I think that is so hard to find and hard to come by in the cryptocurrency space, right? There are a lot of great people, but there are a lot of bad people. Let's just call a spade, right? Yeah. Right now, in an unregulated space, there are a lot of bad people. But what I saw from day one were people trying to do good for our space. And that's what I want. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of something special, right?
Yeah.
And we're on the brink of mass adoption. We're not there yet. So I want to be part of something special. What do I have to do from an investor, from a YouTuber, whatever you want to call us, whatever we do? And how do we do that? We do our due diligence. We find good people. We talk to people. And we make good investments.
And we care about other people. We're not, this is selfless, man.
Exactly.
We don't get paid. This is to be here to try to lift other people up. Whenever I help people win federal contracts or help people learn about crypto, it's because I want other people to ride and be successful. This is a community thing where we can all go together. Like 100%. You've said many times, there's no competition out here. I don't care. No. There's more than enough space on YouTube for all of us to grow. There's more than enough space in federal contracting for every single person I could talk to for 24 hours in a day to grow. And there's definitely more than enough space in the crypto world for all of us to grow,
100%. And I want a piece of a lot of great companies. And I think ClearCryptos is one of those, one of the ones at the top of my list. Right. So that's where I sit. And it matters, man. It matters when you get to meet the people, right? Because how many times have you made an investment, but you really didn't get to see the people behind it? Now some crypto projects are different, right? They just have an anonymous, figure or group of people or whatever. And that's cool. And a lot of those work. Yeah. But you just feel different when you get to meet the people and you get to see what's being built behind the scenes and the connections being made and the potential here and the potential over here. That there's something special about that. And so that's how I feel about CCX. That's why we're doing the live stream. That's why we're doing all the videos on ClearCryptos YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe over there.
Yes, please do.
We care.
And,
yeah.
And wasn't it cool getting to see the ClearCryptos car in Daytona? I mean, at Daytona this Saturday night. It wasn't the 500, but still, they're moving their way up, man. They're out there in the public eye.
Yeah, that thing was clean too, wasn't it?
It
That
was a
thing looked
great
awesome.
paint scheme. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. And if you've never got to experience a race at Daytona, I'm telling you what, it doesn't matter if
That's
you're a race fan or what your thoughts are about racing. Go see a car run 202 miles per hour around that track, and then you'll be like, okay, I kind of get it.
It's special, man. And I'll tell you what, I went to a few races last year, and I'm not a NASCAR fan, never been before. I was blown away. I mean, now we got to actually go on the track, which was unbelievable, put the headsets on and actually listen to Caesar and the guys talk, which was so freaking cool. But just being there and watching it and the environment and the fan base and the energy, right? I love it. So, yeah, man, that was sweet. That was sweet.
The banks at the banks and the corners is absolutely amazing. People don't you can't see it on the TV. You got to go see it with your own eyes, walk on the track, and then you're like, okay, I get it now. I mean, they're literally like this.
Yeah,
I know my shirt's messing my green screen up, but it's
it's
amazing how
crazy.
steep they are.
Yeah, it's crazy. And to watch how close those guys race, I mean, going that fast and like how much control they have. And I don't fully understand it from a standpoint. I've never done it, but I can respect it, right? I
I
can respect
respect
it.
it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know we're going to do some things in Vegas for the Grand Prix. This year's the first Grand Prix in Vegas, so I think that Clear Cryptos is going to have some things out there. I know that I'm going. I know some of the team we're trying to plan it out. It is quickly become the hottest ticket in America for this year, the Grand Prix in Vegas. But I've set that up where I make sure that we can be there and support whoever wants to meet us out there. But Clear Cryptos is going to be in the forefront, showing people the way all the way. We're not stopping. We're here till the very end.
100%, man. Yeah, they're shutting down the strip for that event too. How crazy
Yeah.
is that? I
In
mean,
front
that's
of the
how big.
Bellagio, the
Yeah,
whole strip there in front of the Bellagio is nothing but seating, man.
that's gonna be nuts, man. I
It's
can't
it's
wait. I can't
it's
wait.
gonna be great. We're gonna do that. But Zach, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I love talking to you. You're an inspiration of mine. We're very, very good together back and forth, getting the news out and making it clear. I know this because not that's not just me speaking. I'm talking about everybody that's hit me up is so thankful when we do streams together. So thank you. And everybody out there, if you need us, we're here for you. We're going to grow together. This bull run's going to be crazy. Me and Zach will make enough money where we will never have to work again. I know that. At least I feel that way.
Yep.
And it's not about the money. It's just we got prepared. We have been preparing since day one to be successful. And that's what we're trying to do here. And we're trying to lift everybody else up with any questions you have. We're here to answer them. That's a fact.
And Jonathan, I enjoy doing the streams with you too, man. But to all the people out there, I want to see everybody else win too. There's nothing more than I love seeing other people have success. And like that gives me energy, that gives me excitement. So I remember, man, and I'm sure you've gotten these messages too. You've helped so many people in the SHIB Army. I remember back in 2021, early 2022, the messages of how investing in SHIB early and changed their lives. I mean, the messages, I just bought a new house and they're thanking me in this email. And I'm like, I was a small part of it. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm happy for you. This is insane. And I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody have those stories. And I think if you stick to it, patience is a virtue and there's going to be a lot of bright days ahead. I truly believe that.
I do too. And be dedicated, know what you're doing, and don't let fear shake your mind. Learn the project and then stick with the project that you believe in. And, you'll be just fine. This is a tricky, very minefield type of game that we're playing that it takes time to learn. It really does. Hold on one second. Boca says, didn't know the Grand Prix coming to Vegas. That will be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to check
Look
that out, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Boca, Google that and check out their plans. I mean, it's probably the biggest sporting event ever assembled. I'm gonna go on a limb and just say that. I mean, outside of like the Olympics, like something like just through a league, I think this is probably the biggest thing that's ever been planned. I mean, seriously.
It seriously is. And the tickets now are crazy. I mean, $4,000 for like a back corner. They're going to open up more, but it's crazy.
There's so much money in NASCAR. I couldn't believe it within the sponsorship deals and just wow. I mean, in the fan base, it's huge.
Yeah. Daytona was sold out, not a seat, not one square inch available this weekend. It was just packed.
So crazy. Yeah, my dad went to the Indy 500 this past year. 100,000 people in the infield. 100,000 people just in the infield.
It
Crazy.
was awesome. Luke Denson saw CCX tweet a little while back. Can't wait to see the updates in March. No, one other thing. Let's talk about this. We missed it, and then we'll go. All right.
Yeah.
Clear Cryptos is very generous. They have a rewards program where just by you holding the token, you get the
Right.
reward, and
Twice a year.
twice a
Yep.
year. And if you haven't looked into that, check it out. I mean, there's still time available. There's a 30, 60, and a 90-day, I believe, or either it's it might be spread out over 6 months. But the longer you hold it in that time frame, you get the reward for that time frame.
Yep, 100%. And you know, that is kind of a way to reward people through staking, but not staking, right? And
Right.
so you'll see a lot of the companies like that. I think is a good pivot going away from staking. We've seen what's happened recently with regulation, right? So Clear Cryptos doesn't have staking, but they can still reward their tokens out to holders, kind of like a dividend, right? I mean, that's kind of what you see in the stock market.
Kind of, and you know, we'll see how this all plays out. But I am excited about that. And that's all we have for the Clear Crypto side of things tonight. It's just, look, being early, everyone, has paid off for me and the projects that I have. If you're late to the game, a lot of times you're catching on the way down and you miss out. This is an early opportunity with Clear Cryptos. At least do yourself a favor and learn about what they're doing, and then make your decision on what you want to do.
Agreed 100%, man. Couldn't say it any better.
Well, Zach, I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you. Happy belated birthday. It's the first time I've seen you since our birthday. And we will get together and have a good time here shortly.
Sounds great, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody out there. See ya.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. One Leg Bandits out.